proof. So what he did was, no worries, he created manual assessments, and he assessed his outside counsel on, their acumen using these tools. And he wrote a lot about what he was doing. He had a column in the Legal Tech News, Inside Counsel, ACC docket, and it started a lot of interest. That there could be a way if these assessments were automated to, validate legal professionals' proficiency levels in these tools, right? You charge by hour, the more you manipulate, the more mistakes happen. But he didn't have any delusions of grandeur at first to commercialize for profit. He actually tried to partner with Suffolk Law School up in Boston. They were going to, assume the cost and the tech, and they were going to automate these, and then they were going to offer them to any legal professional who would go through a Word, Excel, PDF module, figure out what they know and what they don't, and then go address what they don't know. And this is all going to be for free. Great idea. You know anything about software development, free and software development are like oxymorons per se. And that's where I came in. And not that I had a satchel of money then or now, but I had a small startup in legal tech, and I had a developer, and I had a relationship with Casey. Funny thing is, I unsuccessfully tried to sell Casey eDiscovery when he was at Kia, but we became friends. So in 2014, we took these assessments, we put development behind them, we automated them, and we launched as a behind the firewall application. Plug it in Word, plug in Excel, plug it in PDF. And we had immediate adoption. It was great. Ran into two issues. One, super relevant to law schools, in that because it was behind the firewall, it was not operating system agnostic. What did that mean? It didn't work on Mac. If we don't work on Mac, we can't sell to you all. And for you all to use it with your students because of the high Mac adoption rate. The other dealt with information security because it's onerous when you have behind the firewall application. So we went to our developers and said, hey, how do we get around this? How do we get into law schools? This could be great for law students to pinpoint what they know and what they don't know before they get into practice. And he said, let's go to a web-based app. Take some time. It'll make it operating system agnostic, but Mac compatible. So we did that, and we relaunched October 31st or so of 2017. But more importantly, we took our original end users' feedback, and these were attorneys, paralegals, some law students from Suffolk and whatnot, and most of them said, hey, we know what we know. We don't know how to do this. How do we get better? I'm taking these assessments over and over again. Simple answer is, you go to YouTube, you find this everywhere, but if you don't kind of puncture people's delusions of attitude, show them what they know and what they don't know, but then put training right behind it, most won't seek it out. They just won't. So we took that feedback and we created trainers on the back end. So we have these assessments, which I'll show you quickly, the demos right quick. They move in a linear fashion, task after task after task. The end user gets rated in time and action. The beauty of what we created is we don't stage anything, right? They're actually working in their own environment. So they're in their comfort zone. And it's a true tell of if they know what they're doing or if they're not, because we often haven't seen a document compared to what they uploaded. On the back end, the trainer gives them task level feedback. If they get it right, they move on. Wrong, it's going to instantaneously tell them, and then it's going to bring them to a teach me video. If they got it wrong, they'll walk them through it, and then you can go back in and validate that learning has occurred. So by doing this, we created a synchronous active learning environment, right? We can identify the need, we can address the need in the middle of the training, and most importantly, on the back end, we can validate that learning has occurred, and that the end user can move on. So as I mentioned, we are web-based. What you see here is our landing page. We're SAML single sign-on compatible, if that's the school's preference. Log in quick. I'm not used to using the dual. Bear with me. So as a first-time user, you're going to be brought to a settings page. I'm not, so I'll go there and you'll see here the settings. Most important thing here is when your users go in there, your students, if you're using this, is that they represent whether or not they're a Windows or a Mac user. That's going to bring them to the, obviously the proper training videos, but also the grading engine is calibrated for Mac, Windows to Mac, because it's quite different. You'll see language, we're in English, we're also in French Canadian, that's probably relevant to anybody in this room, but we will be in Spanish coming in August, if that is of value to any. And then you get even super granular of what you're using. You see here, 2010 to 2016 will be under 2016, Office 365, 2019, and we are in the midst of we stay with the curve as Microsoft makes their upgrades. After you go through this, you save, and then you can jump into what we brand as modules. So we started with Word, Excel, and PDF, and as you'll see, we now have added a ton of content. We did a soft launch of Blue Book. You'll see here 3 different modules on the topic. I say soft because it is live and it is functional and it's good. And I'm not an attorney, so I don't speak in depth about the Blue Book topic, but we do have a friend from Duke Law and another one from Arizona that are actually trying to break it, is what I like to call it. So we can go real strong live, with the start of the new semester. Our end goal is to give you guys an option for the topic. And then you see both. I have access to all modules, but you see Excel for legal, there's assessment trainer, right? PDF, PowerPoint, and then we have 3 Word modules. One's based off of a brief, one's a contract, one's a memo. The beauty of these modules and what we did is very flexible and customizable. You could actually pull tasks, create your own task lists. You could, make one Word master module. You could interblend technologies. And it's as simple as going here and creating a custom module. So we want to give, the end goal has always been to make this as self-service as possible as a platform. And some folks have been using it since inception here. And I think they would back the statement that it's really, really progressed. We're constantly working on new content. The next module we're going to launch is e-discovery, and not how do you use an e-discovery platform, but more case-centric terminology that's being authored by Xavier Rodriguez, a federal judge out of San Antonio. He teaches e-discovery at St. Mary's. And then following that, we're doing a beta launch with CLOC, Corporate Legal Operations Consortium, which is a very hot position in the legal sector now. So we're actually they launched the educational component to that organization. We're going to host all of that education, and we're going to make it accessible to our law school clients. So it's another career track for law students really. Like I said, we're coming out in Spanish, but in terms of reporting, real time, macro to micro, you can see how your school's doing as a whole. Statistically, I will tell you, we've been at this since 2014, but with the law schools 2017, 72% of our law students get beginner or intermediate. There's beginner, intermediate, qualified, or expert. 72% beginner, or intermediate on their first pass through our modules. So the assumption is because they're young, they went through school, they know this stuff. It's generally not true. Again, we have the statistics to prove it, but it's an easy fix. It's not their fault. Like I said, it's you don't know what you don't know. If you don't learn it, you don't seek it out. And you've been using it, you feel like you can use it at a high level, but there's a lot of nuances that they're not aware of. And, we tried to create something here that, again, it's simple. The UI is really easy to use. It's effective, right? You can tell them right away what they know and what they don't. And then on the back end, validate that they now know it. So we have, a lot of questions come up, how are schools using it? It is a hodgepodge. It's, some have built it into curriculum. Some are using it for incoming 1Ls. Create a baseline set of core tech skills coming onto campus, law and technology courses, legal research and writing. There's been a high adoption rate using this platform. What else can I tell you? So e-discovery, and then we're getting into Outlook as well. So that would be our next kind of core tech module that we have. We'll have Blue Book done by mid-August. E-discovery is launched at the end of July. So we'll have a good about 11 modules now, content-wise. And then functionality enhancements that are coming are, if you're using this for a course, you don't want to go into the reporting. You want to know when a student is successful in getting qualified or expert. You're going to get email alerts. You can send tickler reminders to students through the platform, set them up so like 10 days left in order to get to qualified or expert. That's it. Again, I don't have this, grandiose presentation because what we created is just, it's a neat and it's simple. And we feel that so it's not just law schools that are adopting. The Department of Justice uses across the board. We're in a lot of in-house counsel. Some big firms, the one thing that has handcuffed us with law firm adoption, which is going to change, is we were not LMS, we couldn't integrate with LMSs because we didn't have a SCORM back end, but that is going to change in July as well. So we already have firms that use this for onboarding, for both, associate paralegal, legal admins, where they'll do a baseline test to see if that ominous line item on a resume, proficient in Microsoft Office, is really true. And now the fact that we will be able to integrate it in LMS, we see that there's going to be an uptick in law firm adoption, which means they're going to look at it a bit more intently for graduates. But yeah, I'll stop there. Questions or?
How much does it cost?
$1 million question. Right now, an enterprise license school-wide, student, faculty, staff, unlimited access is $5,250, and there's a $275 technical support and maintenance fee. So in around $5,500 for year one, and then it only goes up. It locks in at 5% increases, but then you cap out at $6,750. Once you hit that number, your license won't go up. The only thing that is a variable is that tech support. It just depends on how much content we put in the year before. But other than that, the license fee will lock out at $6,750. We only do that for law school. So, good question. $1 million.
That's always the first question.
Absolutely. But if you're interested in a true demo, info@procert.com. I'm on that alias. I generally do the demos. If it's a broader demo where you want faculty involved, my partner, he's an attorney. So if we gauge it according to audience, who does our demos and whatnot. So we're always more than willing to do those readily. And yeah. That's what I got for you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.